legend of the curse of Genghis Khan's tomb boils down to one simple, though outlandish belief. If the Great Khan's tomb was ever to be opened, the world would end.
For over 800 years, the location of one of history's most legendary figures, Genghis Khan, was a total mystery.
With the confusion, one thing remains certain to this day. No one has ever found Genghis Khan's tomb. No one knows where it is.
Nobody knew where he was buried, and countless explorers came up empty-handed. But then, out of nowhere, a team of archaeologists, historians, and tech wizards cracked the code and uncovered his long-lost tomb. What they found inside blew everyone's minds. This wasn't just some dusty relic collection. It was like stepping into a time machine, revealing secrets that have been hidden for 1,000 years. Time to unfold this secrecy. The long-awaited discovery. Hidden deep within the remote Khenti Mountains of northeastern Mongolia, the site had eluded explorers for centuries, protected not only by the terrain, but by a legacy of deliberate concealment. But in the summer of 2025, thanks to cutting-edge satellite imaging and ground-penetrating radar, the team struck archaeological gold. A subterranean structure, rich with anomalies, appeared beneath a grassy ridge that had previously been dismissed as ordinary. When excavation began, the anticipation was almost unbearable. The entrance alone was a marvel, a stone passageway sealed with massive engraved slabs bearing inscriptions in classical Mongolian script, some of which hadn't been seen in over 900 years. As the team made their way into the heart of the tomb, they discovered chambers lined with gold and silk, ceremonial weapons arranged with eerie precision, and, at the very center, a stone sarcophagus believed to hold the remains of the great Khan himself. What shocked everyone wasn't just the grandeur, it was the preservation. Items that should have long since decayed were intact, as if time had paused the moment the tomb was sealed. More astonishing still were artifacts from foreign lands: Persian pottery, Chinese scrolls, and even European trinkets, suggesting that the reach of Genghis Khan's empire went even deeper than textbooks have told us. And nestled among the relics were items with mysterious markings and technologies that don't quite fit with our understanding of the 13th century. Historians and scientists alike were left speechless, not because the tomb existed, but because of what it told us. This wasn't just the burial site of a man, it was a statement. A message preserved across the centuries from a ruler who reshaped the world in his lifetime, and may now do so again in death. Legacy encased in stone. Born as Temujin in the late 12th century, he rose from the harsh steppes of Mongolia to forge the largest contiguous empire the world has ever seen. His story is one of relentless ambition, brilliant strategy, and unyielding leadership. But beyond the bloodshed and conquest, Genghis Khan's legacy shaped the cultural, political, and social landscape of Asia and Europe for centuries to come. He united the nomadic tribes of the Mongolian plateau and forged an empire that stretched from the Pacific Ocean to the heart of Europe. Yet, despite his fame, or perhaps because of it, the exact location of his final resting place remained one of history's greatest secrets. According to ancient accounts, Genghis Khan requested a burial so secretive that those who buried him were killed to keep its location hidden forever. Over time, this story evolved into a near myth, with the tomb's whereabouts slipping from memory and becoming an enigma. But this secrecy wasn't just about protecting a grave. It was about protecting a legacy. For centuries, the Mongolian people regarded the tomb as sacred ground, a hallowed place not to be disturbed. The fear was that anyone who found it might unleash curses or desecrate the memory of the great leader. Because of this reverence and deliberate silence, the tomb became a symbol of mystery. a hidden chapter in the saga of the Mongol Empire. Yet, the centuries of silence only fueled curiosity. Could such a monumental figure really have vanished so completely? Why had no one ever uncovered even a trace of his burial site? These questions sparked countless expeditions and fueled 1,000 stories. But none led to a breakthrough until now. And that brings us to the story of the search itself. How, after so many failed attempts, did the modern world finally uncover this ancient secret? What changed in the approach, technology, or sheer determination that broke the spell of silence around Genghis Khan's tomb? The answer lies in a century-long saga of exploration, innovation, and unrelenting human curiosity. A century of mystery. Many explorers and scholars tried to find the tomb, but the harsh terrain, dense forests, and a legacy of secrecy made the task nearly impossible. Early expeditions during the 19th and 20th centuries, led by Mongolian scholars, Soviet archaeologists, and even Western adventurers, searched for clues in ancient texts, local folklore, and scattered landmarks. Yet each attempt ended in disappointment, adding layers to the legend, but little to the facts. The challenge was compounded by the Mongolian government's protective stance on the site. Out of respect for tradition and spiritual beliefs, authorities often restricted access to the region where the tomb was rumored to lie. This meant that even with promising leads, many explorers hit dead ends due to political boundaries and cultural sensitivities. Fast forward to the 21st century, and the search took on a new life thanks to modern technology. Satellites peered through the clouds and forests, scanning the Earth's surface for unusual formations. LiDAR technology, which uses lasers to create detailed 3D maps of terrain, even beneath thick vegetation, revealed hidden man-made structures and ancient roads. Ground-penetrating radar, drones, and AI-powered analysis helped sift through vast amounts of data to pinpoint potential sites. It was this combination of respect for local knowledge, cutting-edge tech, and international collaboration that finally cracked the code. The discovery was not the result of one heroic expedition, but a global effort involving Mongolian historians, Chinese archaeologists, Western scientists, and indigenous experts. Their teamwork overcame natural obstacles and centuries of silence to bring the tomb into the light. With the tomb located and preliminary surveys completed, the stage was set for what would become one of the most significant archaeological excavations of the century. The anticipation was electric. Could the findings inside the tomb live up to the grandeur of Genghis Khan's legend? What secrets would emerge from the earth after 1,000 years of waiting? The answers came quickly, and, in many cases, defied expectations. Artifacts and anomalies. Stepping inside Genghis Khan's tomb was like walking through a time capsule sealed for a millennium. The first thing that struck the team was the sheer scale and craftsmanship of the burial chamber. Unlike the simplistic graves of nomadic leaders, this tomb was built with intricate stonework, decorated walls, and carefully arranged artifacts that told stories far beyond a single life. Among the most breathtaking finds were ceremonial weapons, ornate bows, steel swords, and battle axes that gleamed with an unexpected luster, thanks to remarkably well-preserved metallurgy. These weren't just trophies, they reflected the martial culture that defined the Mongol Empire. Alongside the weapons were saddles and horse trappings, evidence of the revered role horses played in Genghis Khan's life and conquests. Perhaps even more surprising were the items that suggested far-reaching connections. Delicate silk scrolls, written in classical Mongolian, intertwined with characters borrowed from Chinese and Persian scripts, indicated the empire's cultural and diplomatic exchanges. Pottery shards, coins minted in distant lands, and even a few European-style rings hinted at trade routes and alliances that textbooks barely mention. At the tomb's core, the sarcophagus held what was believed to be Genghis Khan's remains. Skeletal analysis later confirmed features consistent with historical descriptions: tall stature, robust bone structure, and genetic tests linked the DNA to present-day Mongolian populations, cementing the authenticity of the find. But perhaps the biggest mystery were the strange artifacts that didn't quite fit any known historical timeline. Objects inscribed with unknown symbols, tools crafted from unusual alloys, and even what appeared to be primitive maps challenged experts to rethink parts of the 13th century's technological landscape. Were these relics evidence of forgotten trade networks or something even more extraordinary? The state of preservation was equally astonishing. The tomb's builders had used natural mineral deposits and secret sealing methods that kept humidity and decay at bay. This allowed organic materials like leather, cloth, and wooden objects to survive intact, a rare gift for archaeologists. As the excavation continued, the team realized the tomb was more than just a burial site. It was a narrative frozen in time, offering a multi-dimensional view of Genghis Khan's empire, its reach, and its people. The artifacts told stories of war and peace, conquest and culture, power and piety. What this meant for historians and archaeologists was profound. An entire chapter of history previously locked in legend was now laid bare, ready to be read and understood anew. And now, as the dust settled and the artifacts were catalogued, scientists took over to analyze every detail, hoping to extract even deeper insights from the discovery. Scientific analysis and historical revelations. Once the tomb's treasures were safely transported to labs and research centers, the real detective work began. Scientists from around the world teamed up to analyze the artifacts and remains using the most advanced techniques available. Radiocarbon dating confirmed that the burial site dated back precisely to the early 13th century, perfectly matching the time of Genghis Khan's death in 1227. This timing alone was a major breakthrough, firmly anchoring the tomb in history rather than legend. Forensic experts examined the skeletal remains found inside the sarcophagus. The tall, robust bones matched descriptions of Genghis Khan's physical stature recorded in historical texts. More fascinating, genetic testing showed links to modern Mongolian populations, offering compelling evidence that this was indeed the final resting place of the great Khan himself. This genetic connection opened a new door for researchers interested in tracing the spread of his lineage and understanding the vast genetic legacy attributed to him. But it wasn't just the bones that revealed secrets. The silk scrolls and inscriptions were painstakingly deciphered by linguists, uncovering details about diplomatic missions, military strategies, and even trade agreements. Some texts referred to regions and peoples barely mentioned in earlier sources, expanding our knowledge of the Mongol Empire's complexity and reach. The multilingual nature of the writings underscored the empire's role as a melting pot of cultures. One of the most intriguing scientific revelations came from the mysterious artifacts that defied known historical timelines. Materials scientists analyzed the unusual alloys and found traces of metalworking techniques previously thought to have emerged centuries later. This suggested that Mongol artisans might have been more technologically advanced than previously believed, or perhaps that they had access to knowledge exchanged along the Silk Road and beyond. These findings are rewriting parts of history. They paint a picture of an empire not only built on warfare, but also on sophisticated cultural, economic, and technological exchanges. The tomb has provided concrete evidence that Genghis Khan's world was far more interconnected and complex than the brutal conqueror stereotype suggests. With scientific data piling up, the discovery sent ripples through academic circles worldwide. But the excitement wasn't confined to experts alone. The news quickly reached the public, stirring a wave of fascination and pride, especially in Mongolia and across Central Asia. Which brings us to the profound cultural impact this discovery has had globally. Global reactions and cultural impact. The announcement that Genghis Khan's tomb had finally been found sent shockwaves not only through the academic world, but across the globe. For Mongolia, it was nothing short of a national triumph. The discovery reignited a deep sense of pride and connection to their iconic ancestor, reinforcing cultural identity in a way that few events could. Streets buzzed with celebrations, museums quickly organized exhibitions, and schools introduced new curricula centered around the find. For many Mongolians, it was as if a piece of their soul had been returned. But the excitement wasn't limited to Mongolia. Across Central Asia, where the echoes of the Mongol Empire still linger in language, customs, and history, the find was met with equal awe and curiosity. Scholars in Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, and beyond saw the tomb as a shared heritage, a testament to a common past that shaped their regions in profound ways. On the international stage, historians, archaeologists, and enthusiasts from Europe to Asia followed developments closely. Documentaries were commissioned, books rushed to print, and global media outlets ran special coverage exploring the life and legacy of Genghis Khan alongside the incredible artifacts now revealed to the world. The discovery became a catalyst for renewed interest in medieval Eurasian history, inspiring a generation to look beyond Eurocentric narratives and appreciate the vastness and complexity of the Mongol Empire. Yet, the cultural impact went beyond academic fascination. For many people around the world, Genghis Khan had long been a larger-than-life figure, part legend, part villain, part hero. The discovery humanized him in unexpected ways, showing a ruler who valued diplomacy, trade, and cultural exchange as much as military might. This nuanced view reshaped popular perceptions and invited a more balanced understanding of a man often portrayed through the lens of conquest alone. As enthusiasm grew, so did the desire to protect and preserve the site. Plans emerged for museums, heritage parks, and even virtual reality experiences to bring the tomb and its stories to a wider audience. This ensured that the discovery wasn't just a fleeting moment of fascination, but a lasting legacy for future generations. However, with such a monumental find came inevitable debates and tensions. The story of Genghis Khan's tomb would not be complete without exploring the controversies and rumors that now swirl around it, complicating the narrative and revealing the many layers of meaning this discovery holds. Controversies and rumors revisited. As with any discovery of this magnitude, the opening of Genghis Khan's tomb has sparked a wave of controversies and rumors that add complexity to the story. While the archaeological community broadly welcomes the find, debates over authenticity and interpretation have emerged, reflecting the deep cultural and political significance of the site. One of the main points of contention concerns the tomb's authenticity. Some skeptics question whether the remains inside the sarcophagus truly belong to Genghis Khan himself. They point to inconsistencies in historical records and argue that the artifacts, while impressive, may represent a royal burial of a different figure or even a symbolic cenotaph, rather than an actual grave. These doubts fuel ongoing discussions and call for more rigorous testing and peer review to settle the matter definitively. Political tensions have also surfaced, especially regarding the management and ownership of the site. Mongolia has declared the tomb a national treasure and insists on primary control over excavations and preservation efforts. Meanwhile, neighboring countries with historical ties to the Mongol Empire, such as China and Russia, have voiced interest in participating in or influencing the site's future, sometimes stirring nationalist debates. The balance between respecting local sovereignty and encouraging international cooperation is delicate and continues to evolve. Moreover, traditional and spiritual leaders have expressed concerns about disturbing what many still consider sacred ground. For centuries, local customs forbade anyone from entering the tomb, fearing spiritual repercussions. The excavation, while groundbreaking scientifically, raises ethical questions about respecting indigenous beliefs and the rights of descendants to safeguard their heritage. Beyond these practical concerns, a flood of rumors, ranging from secret curses to hidden treasures beyond imagination, has captured the public imagination. While sensational, these stories highlight how deeply Genghis Khan's legacy is woven into cultural myth, and how discoveries like this one inevitably blur the lines between history and legend. In the midst of these debates, scholars and leaders continue to search for a respectful, balanced approach that honors both scientific inquiry and cultural sensitivity. The tomb's opening has opened more than just a burial chamber.
The forbidden tomb of the man who ruled one of the largest empires ever known, Genghis Khan. It's the most incredible archaeological puzzle of the last millennium.
It has opened a dialogue about identity, history, and the responsibility we all share in preserving the past. Preservation, access, and the future of the site. Now that Genghis Khan's tomb has been revealed to the world, the question turns to what comes next. Preserving such a priceless and delicate site is no small task. The tomb sits in a remote area, surrounded by the vast Mongolian steppe, where natural weathering, human interference, and even tourism could threaten its integrity. To protect this cultural treasure, a combination of modern conservation techniques and careful management strategies is being put into place. Mongolian authorities, in partnership with international experts, are developing a preservation plan that balances access with protection. The idea is to create a controlled heritage zone around the tomb, limiting visitor numbers and ensuring that any exploration or exhibition respects the site's fragile condition. Advanced monitoring systems, including environmental sensors and 3D mapping, will track changes and help prevent damage. In an effort to share the tomb's wonders without risking harm, virtual reality experiences and detailed digital reconstructions are being created. These immersive tours allow people worldwide to step inside the tomb virtually, appreciating its grandeur and history without setting foot on the sensitive ground. Museums across Mongolia and beyond plan to display many of the artifacts, turning the discovery into an educational and cultural boon that transcends borders. There's also a broader conversation underway about the ethics of access. Some argue the tomb should remain off-limits, honoring centuries of spiritual tradition and local reverence. Others believe that opening it to carefully managed public exploration is a powerful way to celebrate Mongolian heritage and inspire a global audience. Finding common ground continues to be a delicate but necessary process. Looking ahead, the tomb of Genghis Khan is more than just an archaeological site. It's a living legacy. It offers an unparalleled window into a transformative era in world history and challenges us to think deeply about how we honor the past while embracing the future. As new discoveries emerge from ongoing research, we can expect our understanding of Genghis Khan and his empire to evolve, enriching not only Mongolian identity, but also the global story of human civilization. This tomb, hidden for 1,000 years, has finally stepped into the light, and with it, a chapter of history has been rewritten. What do you think of this history revisited? Leave your insights below and subscribe to the channel for more content like this.